I sat in the NADICO report, or in the NADICO team, and the issues that I had the former vice president or the former prime minister demand or talk about yesterday are the same issues that we tabled before NADICO. We had said then, and I heard him say yesterday, that before we sit and commence on the dialoguing within NADICO, the cost of living needed to have been addressed, compensation to those who had been killed then or injured, and the violence. We talked about the issues of fidelity to multi-party democracy. We talked about the issues of the need to address ourselves to the issues of corruption. These are the same issues I had Raila yesterday talk about. And what happened then was that we couldn't even hold to our minimum demands. We caved in. Those who were leading us with the whole of that NADICO team led by Raila and William caved in. And we started dealing with non-consequential issues. And for that reason, we are now back to where we are. The only thing that NADICO gave birth to, ni kitu ya broad-based government. So Raila and Ruto are now together in this government. And what Kenyans are saying is that they have failed on the aspect of governance. We cannot trust them any longer. When Kenyans come out to protest, they came out the other week, yesterday, a protest of some nature was also witnessed. And the government is also taking part in the protest by bringing goons. So they are protesting against themselves. What Kenyans are saying is that enough is enough. I know we have been saying one term. Wakenya wanasema hawana nafasi ya one term. They want the guys gone home today. That is why the issue, the clarion call of Ruto must go. So when Raila says that we need a referendum, we need a conclave, again, to me, is another NADICO scheme to keep the same people in power so that we come to 2027 and they do what they want. The Kenyans have no time for time buying all these schemes. Hivyo ndio ninasikia wakisema. Hawana nafasi ya watu kwenda kukaa tena na kuwahadaa na kuwadanganya kwamba kuna mambo wanaweza kuwa wakiongelea kule ndani, ili kwamba wao wanasema tekeleza yale ambayo yameandikwa kwa katiba. Implement what is already provided for in the constitution. If it's a question of police brutality, that was dealt with, and IPOA was put into place, and they should deal with those issues as provided for in the constitution. So in short, 3 or 4, 5 demands that we are making. One is immediate cessation of the state-sponsored violence. You see the goons. There is no way a goon will be walking step by step with a police officer if they had not been believed together earlier in the morning or the day before. And then we also need unconditional release of all those protesters who have been arrested, because there are many across the country. And then, we need an open and public inquest into all deaths and disappearances linked to the protesters or to the protests, with individual officers and commanders being held accountable. Respect for constitutional rights, including freedom of assembly, speech, and public participation. We also demand open and public investigation into the police conduct. And again, we keep talking about reforms, but what we are looking to is end of impunity. Reforms, Justice Maraga was in charge of a police reform the other day, a task force, and I'm not sure they have even finished reading what was recommended. So asking for another reform process is playing around with Kenyans. And again, we ask for compensation for those who have been brutally injured, we have extrajudicial killings, people who have disappeared, property that has been damaged, and all those kind of things. Kwa hivyo, sisi, I now see that Kalonzo has called for a pleasure of the united opposition later in the day. I believe that these are some of the issues that we will inform that sitting, but it is important to note that the NADCO report was tabled in Parliament, where ODM and UDA, now the broad-based government, formed the majority. If they ever wanted to help Kenyans, if they ever listened to why the demonstrations were there last year, the other year, not even last year, and if the Parliament was listening to what Gen Z said last year, June 25th, they would have implemented some of those recommendations within the NADCO. If they had done that, we would not be where we are today. What Kenyans are saying is they have given up any little hope they had that whether UDA or UDA combined with the ODM, they have given up on them, and they are saying hawana uwezo wa kuwasaidia. And that is what I thought I heard them saying, enough is enough. I didn't hear them asking for a referendum. I did not hear them asking for a constitution amendment. You cannot continue amending constitution every other day. There is a quarrel somewhere. And I hope there will be enough voices to stop the broad-based government from trying to tinker with the constitution. The last thing that we want to do is to entrust the alteration of our constitution with the people who have failed to implement it in the first place. Let me say this. There is no one community that is indispensable in this country. This country cannot do without any one community. So the thought of any one group that they can annihilate one community and leave the country going forward is self-deception. You try and I don't know what to say, lakini ukijaribu kumaliza ama kubomoa, kuua one community, you have killed the country. They need to make up their mind and tell us what they are up to. Asanteni sana.
Asante.
Thank you. You'll be part of this. So I want to start with you.